from the House of Jane. How is everybody doing? I hope everybody is having a really good summer and it's not too hot and that you are enjoying yourselves. So one of my passions is reading, and I thought I would start doing book reviews on my channel. And speaking of my channel, if you haven't hit that subscribe button and like button, please do so. It would mean so much to me if you would subscribe to my channel and let me know that you're watching. So, last couple of months I've read a few books. And today I'm going to review these 5. Reading is a big passion of mine. Sometimes I go through spurts where I'll read voraciously for a month or two and then I won't pick up a book for months at a time. But my goal is to read at least 1 or 2 books a month. So if I can accomplish that, I feel mighty good. These are books that I read in June and July, so let's get started. The first one is called The Tattooist of Auschwitz, and it is by Heather Morris. I finished this book in like a day and a half, 2 days, and it was a really riveting read. I don't know if many of you read books about World War II and experiences that people have had, but this one is about a man who goes to Auschwitz, and he survives, obviously, and he's a tattooist. He's the one that tattoos the arms of everybody who is chosen to live. So it's about his time at Auschwitz, and while he's there, he meets a woman who he falls in love with. I'm not going to give away the story, but it's about before, during, and then after the war. And it's a book on survival. It was a fascinating read. It is a New York Times bestseller, and I highly recommend it. If you're looking for a book to capture you right away and engulf you, this is the book. And like I said, it is a fast read. You can probably finish it in a day or 2 if you have time. And it was very moving. It hit my soul. Second book is by Lisa Genova, and it's called Every Note Played. This book is about a man who is a world-famous concert classical pianist. And he develops Lou Gehrig's disease, also known as ALS. And it is about his life with Lou Gehrig's. It was an extremely, I'll be quite honest, it was a depressing book to read. Because while I was reading this book, I thought of my aunt who also died of Lou Gehrig's disease. And if you don't know a lot about the awful disease that has no cure, your body basically turns to jello. And you lose all capacity to take care of yourself. And it's very debilitating, and it's actually an extremely painful way to die. So it's about this guy who was a concert pianist, and his ex-wife, Correa, who takes him in because she realizes he can't live alone. And it's about them reconciling between themselves and each other the conflicts and problems they had in their marriage, while this man is on a pretty quick decline from the disease. I highly recommend the book to read, but just be prepared to be sad. It was a depressing read, but Lisa Genova is an excellent author, and this was very well written, and I highly recommend it as well. It was just depressing for me. The next book is called The Daughter's Tale. This book I'm keeping in my library. It's by Armando Lucas Correa. He's also the best-selling author of The German Girl. This book is also a World War II Holocaust type book. It starts out with a young family in Berlin, and before the war, and what happens throughout their lives and with their children. And reading the beginning part of the book when they're living in Berlin, and the mom has a bookstore, and the dad is a cardiologist, very world famous as well, at least in Berlin. And you can see the beginnings of the Nazi takeover and all the events that led up to World War II. And it was like the writing is on the wall. One of the scenes is a book burning scene, because the lady did own a bookstore, and they took every single book she had and burned it in the square outside. And you know that's like the beginning of the end when you start burning books and getting rid of literature and culture. And just because it was written by a communist or a Jew, it had to be destroyed. And it's a riveting tale about the mother and her sacrifices and her two daughters and what happens to them. And it goes kind of like full circle, because it also goes into the future of present day with an old lady getting some news. I don't want to give away the story, but it's a lifespan type novel. It was a beautifully well-written book, and I highly recommend that you check out A Daughter's Tale. The next book I read was by Lisa Taddeo, and it was called 3 Women. This is also a New York Times #1 bestseller. I've never read anything by Lisa Taddeo, but this was quite an interesting book. What she did is over, I believe, 8 years. She followed 3 women. It should really be a nonfiction book. She followed 3 women in their stories over an 8-year time period. She did change names for a lot of the characters to maintain privacy of people involved. And it showcases 3 women. The first woman she showcased lived in, the chapters are interspersed. They go back and forth between these 3 women and what was pivotal in their lives. But one of the women she wrote about was named Lena, and she lived in Indiana. And there was some backstory of Lena's growing up life, but the main part of the story was she was married to a man who wanted absolutely no physical contact with her, and not even a kiss, not even a touch. And her journey to have that physical contact need in her life. I'm not going to judge her, but some of the things she did, most of us might not do, but she needed to feel that contact. Excuse me. Need some water. So that we go on with Lena's journey. And then there's a journey of Maggie, who lived in I think Wyoming or North Dakota? Yeah, North Dakota. And her affair with her teacher when she was in high school, and the ramifications of that affair on the rest of her life. And I don't want to give too much away, but it delves into that one. And the last woman profiled is named Sloan, and she lives in Massachusetts. Very upper crust, rich woman who has everything in her life, but she and her husband dally in couples affairs and not having a care in the world really about how that would affect other people. And it's about her life before those affairs, before she got married, her relationship with her parents and her brother, and of course the outcome of everything that she did and how it affected her life. So very good book, very well written. 3 women. I do recommend it. And then the last one I read is called Ask Again Yes. It's a novel by Beth Keane. She also wrote the book called Fever, which I did not read. And this book I really enjoyed a lot. It's about 2 families. Both families, the fathers are New York City policemen. So it starts at the beginning when they're young patrolmen, and then these men get married and have families, and they end up living next door to each other. And it's about the relationship between those families, which was quite tragic because the mother in one of the families was mentally ill, and it was about her child, and then the other family had children as well, and the interactions and effects of actions of people and how it progressed later on in life to meet some tragic ends that had to be resolved, and a lot of hard work. So it's a relationship kind of book. I don't want to give too much away, but there's a boy in one family and a girl in another, and their romantic relationship leading to marriage. But there were some catastrophic events that affected their whole lives and how they handled themselves and dealt with their problems. So, very good book. I recommend it. I am going to be giving this book away in a giveaway in my next video as part of a giveaway, because I really think most people would like this book. It was very well written. I grew up in New York, so a lot of places they wrote about in New York, I've lived there. I know the areas upstate, in the city, and on Long Island. So I thought that just having that knowledge of the areas and the descriptions of it was pretty accurate. So I enjoyed reading that and seeing how events that happen when you're a child definitely shape you and affect the way you live later on in life. So Ask Again Yes, I highly recommend that as well. So that's all I read lately. And probably my favorite out of all of them is The Daughter's Tale. I really love that. And then The Tattooist of Auschwitz was just, it was riveting, and to me it's historical. They say it's a novel. It is a novel, but it is based on true story, and you can read about that person in the back of this book. So that's all I have to say today about books, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and please like and subscribe. It would mean the world to me, and I know it makes me know that you're watching and listening to what I have to say, and hopefully you're enjoying the content. So have a great day, everybody. Take care. Bye.